Hey everybody, this is episode 25 of Eat, Drink, Write, and Urban Fantasy Whiteboard. We're going to talk a little bit about cliches and storylines, not the cliche as in words like the idioms and that kind of thing, but cliche as far as storylines and tropes and that kind of thing. This week we chose the chosen one cliche, which is something we see a lot, especially in urban fantasy, which is what we like to write. The first things first though, how was your week?
It's been busy. So it's the first week that I was able to go back to work. So I've been in the lab and I've been starting up science again, and I have to remember how to do science and make sure my cells can live. And so I just went and thawed some cells today, so we'll see how those do.
What do you do with them after they thaw?
Next few days. These cells are fibroblasts. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm basically going to check and see if they have a specific RNA foci, which will tell me whether or not we have been able to remove a toxic piece of RNA, essentially.
Okay, cool.
So that's what these cells are for.
That sounds exciting, but it's way over my head.
I know. I'm not very good at like putting things in layman's terms either. So I was trying to. I don't know. I have all these terms, like very much scientific jargon, and it's like I don't know how to say things like a normal human.
When you and Courtney start talking science, I'm just going,
what?
I don't know what that means. It's over my head. I got smart kids.
But I've been working on my Aiden book, and I have still been rewriting Louis and Delaney, so working on that one.
That's real good. My week was interesting. We finished the house. The outside of the house is done except the garage doors, and those will be put on in July. So it looks like a brand new house. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm very, very happy with it. Now we've got our 14-year-old working on our deck. She's power washed half of it. We're going to paint it so that everything looks good. There's a couple wooden boards that we have to change because they've rotted or splintered or whatever. So we're working on that. But my most exciting news is that I might have COVID-19.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exciting.
It's different. I'm not feeling well, hence the blanket. I'm drinking tea. I can't eat. I took 2 bites of your dad made frittata. And it's always wonderful, but I just can't eat. I've lost 4 pounds in 3 days.
Have you thought about going back on carbs while you're sick?
I actually have been craving carbs. The first day that I really wasn't feeling well, I looked at everything and nothing looked good. So I actually ate canned chili with no beans. So it's still lower carb, but the canned chili is definitely not the most healthy choice, but it's what I wanted and I was able to eat it.
Definitely eat whatever you want. And if you're craving carbs, I would say do it.
Yeah, my headache is horrible. I have a fever. I went and got the drive-through COVID test, which was an interesting experience. We were there for 2 hours sitting in line. And because I had symptoms, they took my temperature. My fever was 101. I've got the body aches, this throbbing headache. The body aches are weird.
I told her we needed to take a break and not do this episode, but she is very insistent because we have people people look up to us or what did you say?
We have
depend on us. So
yeah, people depend on us. We have topics that people want to hear about, and I don't want to let anybody down. And you're going to do most of this episode anyway. I'm just going to jump in with a few things, but I don't feel great. My fever's gone. I'm staying on Motrin, which is good. I feel much better when I'm on Motrin, but the pain, my muscle aches are from my neck all the way down my spine and into my shoulder. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So that was my week. I'm supposed to have a tour meet my judge and the administrative officer of the courts up at the courthouse tomorrow, and that's not happening.
No.
They said I had my first test done and it was negative, the rapid test or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But the doctor there at the test site said it's only about 85% effective, and with my symptoms, she said go ahead and treat it as if I've got COVID, which means I need to quarantine for 14 days. But they did send off a second test. So if that comes back negative, I'll feel a little bit better that I probably don't have it. But she said even that is not foolproof. And with my symptoms, oh yeah, my chest hurts. It doesn't hurt to breathe, but I've got this cough. And when I cough, it just really hurts. So it's possible I've got it. So what are you eating and drinking?
So I made a tea from the Peacock Tea Room, as I do, because I've got like a million of them, and it is called Berry Berry Tea. And I haven't tried it yet. It's too hot for me to sip for now, but I'm sure I'll try it throughout the episode. And then do it.
I was going to say, I think I've had that one at the Peacock Tea Room before. I think I've tried the Berry Berry.
Oh, do you remember liking it?
I love all their teas.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
yeah, I've been thinking about ordering a bunch of teas from there.
Yeah, we've had our Peacock Tea Room fixed by now because we've normally gone to the Renaissance Festival, but it was canceled, so haven't had it. But what are you eating?
So those little snack things that you used to buy, or you might still buy, I have no idea, with like the cheeses and then the nuts and then like some type of like dried fruit or like
chip.
So I love those things. I'm allergic to one of them, so I don't buy them anymore.
Oh.
It makes my lips itch, but it's I love some of them, and then some of them make my lips itch. So I don't buy any of them anymore. Plus, it's cheaper to just go ahead and buy all the stuff that goes in it and like do it myself. So I bought cheese sticks, and I bought cashews, and I bought dried cranberries, and so that is what I am eating today.
Very nice.
How about you?
I'm drinking tea. I've got my English afternoon tea today, and I'm not eating anything because I don't feel well. So,
yeah.
Oh, and just we should say up front, I'm not up to editing this, so we're going to post as is. So please excuse our ums and our pauses and that kind of thing. It's just going to be totally unedited, both the YouTube and the audio version. So just excuse us. I would rather do it this way and have an episode than not do it at all.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
I have jokes.
Of course you do, even when you're not feeling well.
Even when I'm not feeling well. Since we're doing the chosen one cliche, I was trying to find chosen one jokes, and the only thing that was coming up was Trump calling himself the chosen one, and I was like, I don't want to go there. So, but I did find this one that is a text message joke where this person starts off saying, "Who are you? Someone changed the names in my phone." And the person responded, "What did they change my name to?" And the first person said, "Chosen one." And the responder said, "Well, don't change it back." And he said, "Yeah, but who are you?" And he's like, "I'm the chosen one."
That would be so aggravating.
I thought that was pretty funny. So probably whoever their snarkiest friend is who that would be.
Yep.
But then since Harry Potter is also considered a chosen one type story, I did a Harry Potter joke.
Okay.
What is the difference between a comma and Crookshanks?
What?
Crookshanks has claws at the end of his paws, and a comma is a pause at the end of a clause.
Oh my God. I love that one. That one's pretty good. That's clever.
I like that one too. That was very good. And, Dad listened to that and he's like, "Well, your nerdy ones will get it." And I was like, probably all of our listeners are probably nerdy. We're all writers. So it kind of goes without saying. But just to start it off, what is a cliche? A cliche is a word or phrase or plot that has been overused in writing.
Right.
So what is the chosen one cliche?
So the chosen one cliche is, you have a main character or protagonist of a story, and they're usually the subject of a prophecy, or, it's foretold that they and they alone are the one who can solve everything or save everyone, or they have this special ability that's able to help the world, and they're the only one that can do it. They have been chosen for this.
Yeah.
Excuse my cat. He is being rambunctious.
Does he have the zoomies?
Not the zoomies. He just slammed the door into the wall, so I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, So these are often used in urban fantasies all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of TV shows and movies too. I mean, you've got the Harry Potter, which I mentioned, Triss and Divergent, because her special power, I don't know that it was a power, was that she didn't test into any specific group.
Right.
Buffy, of course, is the true chosen one. I mean,
Yeah.
that's as chosen one as you can get.
It's a big one.
Neo from The Matrix, Luke
Yes.
Skywalker, and then the Charmed ones. I mean, they're chosen too. The three of them together are
Yeah.
the chosen ones.
Which is, I think it's really cool that he's driving me nuts. I think it's really cool that there are three of them and they are all like the chosen ones as opposed to like just the one chosen one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smack my cat. Hey, can you chill? Sorry, guys. Yeah. So it often gives a reason, that your main character is called to adventure, because in every book, your main character is called to an adventure. And the chosen one cliche just kind of makes that easy.
That's true. Like the Charmed ones, they were just normal sisters until their grandmother died and they got their powers and became the chosen ones.
Right.
So,
and suddenly they're like, oh, we get to save the world every week.
And that's what started the whole series. And that's,
Yeah, exactly. It also allows for an easier introduction to the villain or antagonist, because, they're going to want to stop the chosen one from, being able to save the world or do whatever, because, you've got your antagonist, they want something, and obviously it's going to be the chosen one who stands in their way.
Just like Charmed, again, is a perfect example where you've got the bad guys who are wanting power or magic or, demons to come forth or whatever, and the Charmed ones do stop them. You're right, it does make it an easier trope to use. Your reader automatically connects with it. So
yeah, exactly. So is using this cliche bad? And not necessarily. There's a reason it's popular. There's a reason it gets overused. It's just that I think, like any cliche, it can be done poorly. And
then, I mean, I understand why it's used. We've got, as humans, we would love someone to show up one day and say, you're special, you've got this magic ability. And, that's just something that we as humans would love. We would love to be special. We would love to have the ability to turn invisible or whatever.
Absolutely.
We also identify with that struggle that the chosen one has, accepting that mantle of power.
Right.
And we all want to be different. I remember when I was a little kid, I wanted to be from another planet.
My thing was, do you remember that show when I was a kid, Danny Phantom?
Yes.
I wanted to be a half ghost, just like him. I wanted to go and catch ghosts and be a ghost hunter, but I wanted to also be a half ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something that's just innate in humans, which makes this a very popular cliche. That's why it's cliche, because we all love those stories and they can be done well. Like Charmed, I still love. I rewatch Charmed and Buffy all the time.
I just rewatched both of those within the past half year since we've been in quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love them, and that's why those were really good shows, and people came back week after week. I remember coming back from karate when y'all were kids. We would rush home after karate because Buffy was about to start, and that was before we had DVRs and all of that. And so we would rush home to watch it live in person.
Yeah, I remember that too. I was a little pipsqueak.
Another example is Supernatural. As the chosen ones, they're hunters, and they are chosen to go and fight the monsters and all of that. And it's not because of any necessarily magic ability that they have, but the knowledge that they have. They have the knowledge of the bad guys. They were raised into that world, so that does make them chosen.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So another thing that, the reason why people would like to use this or would like this trope, or why it's a good trope and not necessarily a bad cliche to use, it allows for the reader to grasp the stakes of a story almost immediately. Because, as soon as you find out that your main character or the protagonist that you're reading about is this chosen one, they suddenly have the weight of the world on their shoulders, like you said. And that is something that can be very relatable, because you're like, oh, they've got all this pressure on them. I understand, what pressure feels like. And their pressure is like, I now know the stakes of this story, and it sucks you into that story pretty easily.
But don't make your writing lazy just because you know that your audience is going to understand that trope. We all understand that cliche, but don't be lazy with your writing just because we know that your reader's going to get it. I mean, it does make it easier, but you don't have to be lazy with it.
I agree completely. And I get down to some of those things. I talk a little bit about not being lazy with your writing when it comes to this kind of cliche. So if you're going to use it, explanation is going to be key. Why is this person the only one that can defeat the antagonist? Whether it's, a human antagonist or it's nature or a group-based antagonist. What makes them so special? Why can't the masses fix this issue?
Buffy.
Right.
Buffy, no one but Buffy can do it. None of us have the strength and the speed and the skill to go and fight vampires and demons. Only Buffy can. So she has to be. There is no masses that can help her.
Right. Yeah.
Or that can do it by herself. Right.
And then also make your character a relatable person. So this is where we're getting into, not being lazy with your writing when using this cliche, because you don't want the fact that they're the chosen one to be their defining trait. Before they're the chosen one, let us know who they are. They're still your MC, they're your main character. But who are they beneath that cliche of being a chosen one?
See, and Armed did that really well. We knew that Phoebe was she ran away to New York and she had her issues. She wasn't responsible. You had Prue, who was the not the father figure because they had their grand growing up, but she was definitely the oldest sister, and then Piper, who was the mediator between the two.
The middle kid, yeah.
Yeah, and all of that was very well shown prior to them getting their powers.
Yeah.
You could see that they did a great job.
They did a fabulous job.
Did.
So they need hopes and dreams and fears and weaknesses just like any other person. And you can use your character's weaknesses to bring out or to bring in other characters as well, like side characters. Because, if you have your main character as this chosen one, but they're able to do everything by themselves, I'm not interested in reading something like that. Like, I want them to have weaknesses. Let other characters drive the plot too.
I hadn't thought of this show until just now, The Umbrella Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all chosen. They all have powers, but oh my God, they're all screwed up too. Oh. Every one of those characters is screwed up, but they're so much more interesting than a character who can just do everything by themselves.
Absolutely. I think that show's second season is coming out soon.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Pretty sure. Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And I love flawed characters. And I think a lot of the issue with the chosen one cliche is that you end up with Mary Sue's. You end up with very perfect, polished characters, and I think that's the whole point of this section that I'm talking about now is, make sure that your character is human, is a person.
Yeah.
You want them to be relatable, basically.
Yeah. So how do we turn this overused cliche into something more interesting for our readers? And as I was researching this, I remember, and you're probably too young, I don't remember when this came out. I think it might have been an 80s show, but The Greatest American Hero. Do you remember that show?
I don't.
It is so well done. It was a series on TV, but he was chosen to be this superhero. And so you got this suit, the superhero suit, and it came with a book on a how-to guide. Yeah. Well, he lost the book. It got destroyed.
Oh.
So he has all these powers and doesn't know how to use them. And it is a really good way to, you talk about flawed, that character, he is a mess and he tries so hard. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to take this responsibility that he's been given, but he'll try to fly and you see him, doing this and then he'll crash. I mean, it's so funny. And so that is a great way to turn the superhero on its head, because he's a superhero, but he doesn't know how to use it. And it's very funny in how that came across. So that was an excellent way to twist that chosen one scenario.
That's fantastic. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, I would go watch it, except I like struggle so hard to watch really old shows.
80s stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds great. I wonder if
Yeah.
it's a book or something.
I don't know, but it was a really good show.
Nice. All right. No, that's a really great way to turn around a cliche. Um, you can also reveal the fact that the main character is not, in fact, the chosen one.
Yeah. What if in your novel we all think the reader and everybody thinks that this one's the chosen one, but what if that isn't the chosen one and we only get revealed who the real chosen one is right before they die? I mean, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
yeah. And so we're all expecting this hero is gonna save everything because that's what that cliche is. And it turns out not only does that hero not save anything, but they're not even the real chosen one. And the real chosen one dies as they save everything. I mean, so lots of ways to twist it.
I like that. That's super interesting. Write that book. Do that.
I can do that.
Yeah, and then also, you could show that the prophecy that foretells that they're this great hero that's going to save everything, you could find out that that prophecy is a lie. Whether it's through misinterpretation of the prophecy or if it's like warping through word of mouth by generations of, just passing it down.
Yeah, I like the idea of misinterpretation. One of my favorite all-time movies is The Lady in the Water. Do you remember that one?
I do, yeah.
I love that movie. It's an M. Night, I don't know how to say his last name, Shyamalan.
I have no idea.
Sorry. But he is one of my favorite producers, writers. His stuff is always twisted and I love it. But The Lady in the Water is about a creature that is basically a muse, and she comes and helps. She comes into our realm and helps someone who is going to make a change in our world. And so she comes into the world, and these scrunts, which are these wolf-looking things, these deformed wolf-looking things, are trying to kill her because they don't want the world to have this kind of muse and inspiration. And so the whole story is about these chosen ones, these normal human characters who are put in charge of helping her inspire this person that she came to this world to inspire and keep her from being eaten or killed by these wolf things.
Right.
And that one has a prophecy that each of these characters had a part to play, but the character that's putting all this together gets it wrong. He gets wrong who is to play which role. And so, there's all this tension that's built and things aren't working out. But that was a great way to change the chosen one scenario into it. Not only was it just one person that wasn't really the chosen one, they had them all mixed up.
Right.
It's an excellent movie. If y'all haven't watched it, go watch it.
It's been a really long time since I've seen it.
It's the Muse character is played by the lady who now does she's Ron Howard's daughter. She does the Jurassic World. She's the Jurassic World chick.
Oh, I know her, but I don't remember her name right now.
Yeah. She's something Howard.
Well,
because she's Ron Howard's daughter. But excellent movie, and I love her as an actor too. She's
great.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that because it has been years and years and years, and I don't know that I think I was young enough that I didn't quite grasp the concept. So I definitely need to go back and rewatch.
I actually watched it because of the title, The Lady in the Water, which is an Excalibur King Arthur thing. And so I was wondering what this was going to be about, and it wasn't that at all. And I absolutely love. I watch it every time I see it when it comes on.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, definitely. And so, one thing that I think is important to bring to light about those two situations is that they allow for character growth and journey. And, the discovery that you don't have to be like a quote unquote real chosen one in order to, help people or to overcome obstacles.
I love that whole concept. It reminds me of Beck and My Freaking Fairy story.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I would call her a chosen one, although the fairies do choose her to help them.
Hmm.
But she is normal, but she has no power, and she's still able to face up to these magical, powerful creatures and get things done. I mean,
Yeah.
I absolutely love that concept.
I do too. I think it's a good message to send too. Like you don't have to be special to be helpful or to help people or
Yeah,
to change the world or whatever. So
yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if
Um,
that's the theme of, is that the theme of my book? Is that what we decided? That
oh,
you,
did we decide?
I don't
If we
know.
didn't, then that's a good one.
That is a good one. That fits.
I think we might have decided that actually. I haven't listened to our last episode, so
Yeah, I haven't either.
yeah. Huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
no, I definitely think so. There was another example that I found or thought of that definitely showed a way to turn the cliche on its head. And I loved it because it's Star Wars. And
I
so
love
think
Star
about
Wars.
Anakin Skywalker. And, he was foretold to bring balance to the Force. And he ends up evil and he kills off most of the Jedi. And, later he's somewhat redeemed, to some degree. And he ends up fulfilling the prophecy and brings that balance to the Force. But this is after he's caused extreme destruction and strife within the entire
Well,
world.
you could use that cliche that way too, where you're prophesized to, bring about a change in the world. But what if it's not you, it's your child? And
Oh,
so you go through the whole book thinking this person's going to make a difference. And what their difference is they have the kid who's going to grow up. That's like Terminator.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until just now.
That's so interesting. I don't know if I would feel cheated as a reader if I'm like following this main character and then it's like at the end it's like it's not them all. I don't know. It's interesting. I think I would
Yeah.
be interested, and I think if written well, I think that could be like an insanely cool twist to a
Hmm.
story.
I kind of
Yeah,
like that too. Yeah. Um, the book that I'm working on now, the Twin Saga,
yeah,
it's clear who the chosen one is. We expect her from page one to save the world. We know she's the one that is the star of the show, the chosen one.
yeah.
There's prophecy, all of these things, and we're all taught from page one that she's it. But I twist it at the end so that the prophecy isn't exactly what we thought it was. And so what we have thought from page one all the way through isn't, it's still correct,
Right.
twisted in how it comes to be. I like self-fulfilling prophecies too.
Yeah, those are fun. I feel like those have been done a lot too, but they are like, when they happen, it's like, yeah, I see what
Hmm.
happened there. And it
Hmm.
is somewhat satisfying to a
Hmm.
degree. No, that's a good point. I am so excited to read your rewrite of the book that you're working on right now.
Me too. I mean, I'm excited to write it. I kind of read it as I
I'll
write
also
it.
be excited to read it. Yeah, because I think I read that back in ninth grade.
Hmm.
And I'm well out of college now, so I'm 5 years out of undergrad.
Hmm.
So it's been at least a decade since I read it. Yeah. So and then continuing on, like you can show your main character working for their abilities or for their position. Just because they're chosen doesn't mean that they should be all powerful right off. Um, yeah, I think you had something that you wanted to say.
Um, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. It's much more interesting when they don't have their power. Like that's why The Greatest American Hero was so funny because he, did not have all of it. He had all the power. He just didn't know how to use it. And
Right.
it manifested itself in all these really funny ways. And yet he still was able to save the people in spite of himself. We always talk about rocks, throwing
Yeah.
rocks at our character, and that is a great way to throw rocks at a chosen one, is to have issues with their powers, issues with, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. It's no fun when they have all the answers right off the bat. There's no story there. There's
Yeah.
no tension there.
Right. There are no stakes. Like you don't have like the stakes like, oh, he might not be able to save the world because, whatever. Instead, it would feel more like, oh, well, he's already got like all the power he needs to save the world. So like, why is this a story kind of thing?
Yeah, I like the idea of, what if they have all the power, but it doesn't work when it's raining, or it doesn't work in certain circumstances? That could be extremely frustrating for the character. The reader would go, oh my God, it's starting to, I hear thunder.
Right,
Oh
yeah.
no, and the bad guy's coming. What's he gonna do?
I love that. That's fantastic.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good way to show the development throughout your story. I think you can
Hmm.
get a lot of development through these issues that they have with their powers, whether they have them fully or not. Like you said, if rain cancels out their magic, then like they're screwed whenever there's a slight rain shower.
Think about Charmed again. Remember there were episodes where they lost all their powers
Mhm.
and how they struggled to just be normal human beings and were able to still accomplish good
Yeah,
even without their powers. I think that was a necessary way to show them and the watcher, reader, whatever,
right.
that it can't all rely on their magical abilities. Like there
Yeah, I
has
mean,
to
I
be
think,
more to those
yeah,
people. Like
100%.
with my rain scenario, they have to figure out what are they going to do when it rains.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as a reader, I love seeing characters struggle. As a writer too, I love making my characters struggle.
Yeah.
It's just fun. Like it's you don't know how this story is going to end, and you want to know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I think making sure that there's something that gives your main character issues in general, I think is a good idea and a good way to turn this kind of cliche on its head.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so like as mentioned earlier, make sure that your character can stand on their own 2 feet as a character without their designation as the chosen one. Prophecy shouldn't be a placeholder for voice, for character voice, or for your character's personality.
Yeah, like you said earlier, I like that you said hopes, dreams, and fears. It shows weaknesses, skills, even before they're known to be the chosen one. Make them a real person. We don't want that prophecy to make them. That's
Right,
to me one dimensional, or
I agree.
yeah.
There's so much more to a person than a title given to them, because like, I'm the research technician, but I'm also Taylor the writer and the
Right.
podcaster, and I
Yeah.
like to cook, and I whatever. So
You
yeah.
know, as I was researching this and I thought about Beck, who is totally normal with no special abilities, I started thinking, do you think that all protagonists are kind of a chosen one?
I think arguably yes. I think you could argue it either way. So it depends. I feel like yes, because they're the protagonist and the main character for a reason. They've gotten some kind of call to adventure.
Yeah.
Um, so I think yes, but I also think this cliche is probably more about like you have been chosen as the only one in the world who can do this thing. Whereas I think Beck, she didn't have to be the one to do that. Like the fairies could have stumbled on some other poor human, and they could have been the one who ended up. So like I think in that way, no, not all of them could be the chosen one.
Yeah. I just wonder if someone else had the fairies happen to them, how they would have dealt with it.
That's true.
I
Becca's a
just,
special kind of person to,
she is.
go along with it. I mean, granted, she
She
has
had no choice.
right, but still.
But I mean, she handled it well, and her unique way of seeing things and
Yeah,
her snarkiness, and I can't imagine if Joe Blow down the street was picked, what they would do. I don't know.
right. I mean,
Would they?
honestly, anyone in their right minds would have just run away.
I know, right? Those fairies.
Beck is she's a special human.
She's such a good person too.
She
I
is a good person.
I really like her.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what makes her the chosen one of that story, is the fact that she is a special person and she is average and she still wanted to help
Mhm.
in this extraordinary situation. So
Yeah.
I think yes, I argue both yes and no.
I agree. It just got me thinking. I just wondered,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
kind of are.
No, that's true. That's kind of like an interview question.
I mean, even like the Thomas Covenant. series I was telling you about that your dad hated, the guy had leprosy.
Yeah.
He definitely was the chosen one. He was the one that went into this other world and saved it.
Yeah.
He's just not a very nice person.
Right. Yeah. No, they don't have to be nice
Mhm.
people, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, that was an interesting thought.
Yeah. That's all I got.
That is also all I have, except for an interview question.
Okay.
And it's a quick and easy one so that we can sign off.
Okay.
So what sense other than sight do you use the most in your writing?
I think I use a lot of smell because I do have that super smeller.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my own personal sense is tied to smell
Yeah.
because smell, I have such a strong sense of smell, it affects everything. If I go to a restaurant and someone has perfume on it, it totally ruins my meal. I mean, it affects my life to that degree. So I would say I probably do. I would have to pay attention. I don't really pay attention, but I bet it's smell.
Cool. I've noticed in mine that it's actually hearing. It's audio. Like I focus on sounds a lot, and I need to get better at like the sense of things and like the taste of things and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I know that I always use sound in some way or another.
I'll
Throughout
have to look at mine. I would assume it would be smell, but I don't know.
Yeah. Also
And
the sense of touch.
yeah, I mean, and we should be using all five senses. So I need to make sure I don't just have hearing or smell or, whatever.
Absolutely. I just think it's like, I definitely notice a sway in mine towards like hearing, like sounds, like the knocking of, a door or the rush of wind through leaves outside. Like
You do that. Yeah.
And so I just was thinking about it while I was trying to come up with an interview question, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely. So
Do you, after reading my stuff, do you think of any one particular sense?
it's been a while since I've read your stuff.
Yeah.
So not off the top of my head.
I'll have to go look.
Yeah, I would have to reread.
Me too. As I'm working on the Twin Saga, I'll have to look because I'm still reading. I'm in the reading stage.
Yeah.
I haven't read this week either. I haven't felt well enough to.
No.
But we still need to finish reading the book that we got to do. I think we're going to have a guest on one of our podcasts. We're reading a book of an independent author, and I think we might have him on. It's a very unique way of writing that he's got, and I would love to have him on the podcast and ask him, how did you think of this, and how did you go about even writing this? It's very interesting.
It is an interesting book. Yeah.
But I got to get that done, and I haven't felt well.
No, that's fair. So on that note, I think we should probably sign off.
Yeah, I printed my outro so I wouldn't forget. Thank you for listening. Our website has just about everything that you could want to find on us. It's eatdrinkwritepodcast.com, all one word, Eat Drink Right Podcast. You can contact us there. It's got links to our social media. We do have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find links to things that we've promised. Like sometimes we'll have a worksheet that we'll say, oh, let's do that. Well, that's where that would be. We've got links to download those things. Find pictures of our food and drink. Let's see. Oh, leave us a review on iTunes. I have made masks with our fabric. So we've got some Eat, Drink, Right fabric for masks for you all. If you want to leave us a review and then email us so that we know that you did it, we can go and look at it. And I'll have to have your address to send you the mask, no charge. So come support us. We have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/EDW podcast. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.